Hey there guys, and happy whatever day it is that you're watching this video. So we are going to continue the Christmas coffee, it's not really a countdown, but the Christmas coffee month. Not as festive today. I'm recording this after work, so I've not put my jumper on. However, that doesn't stop it being Christmassy, does it? And today, the festive coffee we had comes from Roundhill coffee roasters, which I believe, if my geography is correct, are based in Bath. And they're a great roastery, fantastic roastery. I've had their coffee before and have never been disappointed. So we're going to drink their Christmas coffee today and see how good it is, see how festive and Christmassy the coffee makes me feel. So why don't you kick back, relax, get yourselves a coffee, and welcome to Today I Brewed. So, Christmas, the second coffee in our Christmas bonanza, and I'm pretty excited. So, kind of like most of the coffees I've done this season, it comes from Roundhill, a roaster which I haven't had for ages. Seems to be the theme of the season. But I remember drinking Roundhill almost religiously a couple of years ago, and actually I got into Roundhill thanks to one of my good friends, Harley. I used to work with him many years ago, and we've kind of been talking about coffee ever since, and it was him that introduced me to Roundhill roasters a few years back. Needless to say, my mind was blown because the coffee's fantastic from that place. And I've never had their Christmas coffee before. So I thought, while I've got the chance and it's available, I'm going to get some, which I did. And it's known as Santa Claude, which must be somebody's cat, as you can see on the box. I did make the slight error in buying it pre-ground, which is something I haven't done before, I don't think. But you know what? It was fine. The coffee comes from a brilliant place, so I trust the grinding process. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the coffee and talk about the festivities. I've got a lovely card here that they sent with all the information on it. So I will be reading from this card, like a TV presenter in the 90s. So the coffee itself is from Rwanda, and Rwanda's had some great coffees in the last few years. I've drank a few of them. I enjoy Rwandan coffee, so this is pretty cool, and it'll be nice to see what comes when it's Christmas time. The region is, I believe, Nyamashiki or Nyamashiki, one of those. One day my pronunciation will get better. It's from the washing station Mahembe, which is what this coffee is called. The varietal is a red bourbon, and we know how much I love bourbons at this point. It's a washed process coffee, so we're kind of expecting some cleanness to the brew, and it's grown at 1900 metres above sea level. The cool thing is they've got the harvest date here, which is April to August of this year. And now I'm just going to talk at you from this card for a couple of minutes. So, like a television presenter in the 90s, bear with me. So the card says, if you haven't had this coffee, if you do, you know what the card says. But the Mahembe washing station is a family-run wet mill owned by Justin Musa Byamana. Justin himself has 8 hectares of farm and additionally buys cherries from neighbouring smallholders to process. His expertise and knowledge is revered, and his transparent value chain and morals have made him an integral part of the community. Once the cherries are delivered to Mahembe, they are meticulously sorted and pulped. The high altitudes and cooler temperatures mean that fermentation can be carefully controlled, and the coffee is dry fermented for 10 to 12 hours before being further graded, washed and soaked. It is then sorted by hand one final time to remove any remaining defects. This obsession with quality is a cornerstone of Justin's operation, and Mahembe is renowned for delivering exceptional coffee time and time again. Full of intense fruit and festive spices, this washed Rwandan was a standout on the cupping table. Perfect for a festive brew. So it sounds delicious, but what does it taste like? So, clementine, mulling spice, and plum pudding. Sounds wonderful and festive. Now, I'm not a huge fan of clementines like as a fruit. They've got great flavour, great acidity, but it's the texture that really bugs me on a clementine. But I was still excited because if the coffee is kind of anything like the taste of a clementine, awesome. It definitely won't be clementine textured, and it hasn't been when I've drank it before. But now that I've talked at you and just, well, talked at you, let's get into it. Let's talk about the coffee, talk about the brew, and, well, you know, enjoy it. So as I said, the coffee was pre-ground, and that, well, you know what, it wasn't bad. I'm not going to complain about pre-ground coffee, because the coffee still smelled amazing when I opened the bag. Loads of freshness, loads of juiciness actually, and the clementine was pretty much the prominent aroma that I got. There were whiffs of the others, like slight whiffs just on the grind, but the acidityness and I'd say the juiciness of a clementine were definitely the most aromatic thing coming out of the grounds. But it did get me really excited because obviously the tasting notes sound amazing, and when it smells this good, when it's pre-ground and coming out the bag after a few days, it's going to get you a bit buzzed to try it and see what it tastes like. So then it came to the brew. And now I've kept my regular dose of 28.5 grams. And I did that kind of throughout the days that I tasted it. And I think it was, for me, ever so slightly fine. Just a little bit. But while brewing it, you can see how beautiful it looks on the brew. Like, it just looks amazing, fantastic. But this is where the aromas really kind of came into their own and really developed the character of what the coffee was hopefully going to taste like. The clementine was still there, very, very much there. But there was more on the aroma of the spices. And that was a really weird surprise because the juiciness and acidity of the clementine was just followed by this lovely spicy aroma. Like mulled wine spicy aroma would be the way I'd describe it, even though we know what mulling spices are. But that was wonderful, and that did feel very festive in the brew. Little tiny bit, I think, of the plum pudding. Perhaps more pudding than plum in the aroma. But it was exciting. Now I think the brew finished at about 5:20. So like I say, a little bit fine, but I could have dropped the dose to kind of make it balance out, but I like the recipe I have. And when I tried it on this earlier in the week, which was still a bit fresh, I think, it still tasted great. The aromas were still there, the taste was still there, but it's settled a bit longer now. So how does it smell on the table? So again, lots of clementine. Mullein spices sitting just underneath. And there's much more plum here. More plum than pudding this time round. And it kind of smells like, you know, the type of plum smell you get as you get close to the pip. Like, it smells just like that. So how does it taste? Well, let's find out. So it's got a lovely light body to it. Rolls around the tongue nicely. Little bit of spice there coming through. The body is great. It really moves. Definitely more plum in the cup. Like, lots more plum in the cup. I don't think I've ever had plum pudding before. But if it tastes like this, I definitely want to have some plum pudding. Now there's less clementine on the taste, but there's the acidity of the clementine there. And quite a brightness to it as well. So even though it was a slightly longer brew time, it's not impeded the flavours too much. And it's a wonderful mix of festiveness. And it definitely feels festive to drink. I know I don't look Christmassy, but my mouth feels like Christmas is here. That's lovely, very warming, almost over by a hot fire. And a super clean finish. That's lovely. A little bit more clementine that one, actually. That is a delicious coffee. Genuinely delicious. I don't know if you can buy it off Roundhill now. I did look before I filmed this and I couldn't see it. But I think you can get it from other places. But maybe again it's too late. So I'm glad I got some. But as you can see, the packaging is incredible. The box is lovely. It's got a really lovely feel to it. And you can see it's kind of textury. And the cat picture with the hat is wonderful. Great design. And then when you open the box, the bag is Christmassy white. I do love the Roundhill bags. I love the colours. I love the logo. And I know their bags are usually pink and blue. But this is just Just wonderful. So, great coffee. And I'm going to go enjoy it. I'm going to go get festive. Might order myself a pizza and enjoy this at the same time. So if you've not got yourselves a coffee, go get yourselves one. Put your feet up, relax, and always, most importantly, thank you for joining me on Today I Brewed.